And so do I recommend 80-10-10 macro ratios? The short answer is yes, if you are interested in that type of lifestyle. However, hey guys, it's Sasha with Rice and Raw, and today I want to talk about the 80-10-10 diet and if I still follow it and if I still believe in it. So I get these questions quite a bit, and I figured it would make sense to make a video about it and discuss the 80-10-10 diet, vegan diet, starch solution, Rato 4, all of that. Discuss what my view on it is now, how it helped me in the past, and how I've changed it to suit me now to serve my current goals. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you would know that I use the 80-10-10 Rato 4, Rato whenever, starch solution type of diet to lose weight initially. I lost 40 pounds and also to recover from my eating disorder. And I'm fully aware there's a lot of controversy around these diets. A lot of people have struggled in the past to lose weight on these diets. A lot of people have overeaten on these diets and are so confused as to why and how that's even possible because of all the rhetoric that during Right and Freely we're pushing that you can eat unlimited carbs, unlimited calories, and you'll never gain weight at all. So I'm going to go into all of that in this video. So I'm going to start off with what is 80-10-10 as I refer to it. 80-10-10 for me is 80% carbohydrates, 10% fat, and 10% protein macronutrient breakdown. In my perspective, you can apply this macronutrient ratio to eating like a starch-based type of diet where you're eating cooked foods. You can apply it to eating more of a raw, whole foods, fruit-based diet, or you can have a little combination of both. So to start off with the question, do I still follow the 80-10-10 macro ratio? And right now I do not, and I don't really have any plans for the future to up my carbohydrates and lower my fat to get to the 80-10-10 macro ratio. However, I did do it in the past, and like I said, I did lose weight on it. And my goals have changed, so instead of losing weight, I'm looking more to gain muscle, gain strength, and to have an overall just healthy body weight. And so do I recommend 80-10-10 macro ratios? The short answer is yes, if you are interested in that type of lifestyle. However, I do not recommend going further than that and doing like 95-5, which some people think that, well, if you can lose weight on 80-10-10, let me decrease my fat even more to try to lose weight. And I find that through just my experience and also interacting with hundreds of people over the past couple years, that when you cut your fat too low, you start to experience a few different problems. So obviously, number one, you're not going to be able to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins that are an absolute necessity to your health. So you need to consider that. And then also, with such low fat intake, that could affect your hormones and your hormone balance, which is definitely something you do not want to do. And then the third, which might be the most appealing to not to lower your fat to 5%, would be by doing that, you're creating such an extreme macro ratio that you will feel voracious no matter what you're eating. So I find that a lot of people come to me saying, look, I'm eating 80-10-10, 95-5, I'm eating so healthy, I'm eating so well, but I feel like, I've gained weight and I just feel voracious and I can't stop eating. And I'll ask them, how many calories are you eating in a day? And they're like, oh, 4,000, 5,000. And it's typically like a young girl my size, with a sedentary lifestyle. And for that, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 calories is just too much. You can't expect to lose weight eating that many calories just because you're only eating carbohydrates. By adding fat into your diet, by having the right balance of fat, proteins, and carbohydrates in your diet, you will find that you can be satiated on more like 2,000 to 3,000 calories, which is a much more appropriate range, especially if you are on the smaller size, if you're sedentary. Of course, calorie intake will differ from person to person, depending on a whole range of factors. So when people take it to the extreme, that's not necessarily going to be a good thing. It's not necessarily going to promote weight loss. And it's not necessarily the healthiest thing. So I think the 80-10-10 macro ratio is right on the edge and cusp of what you can probably get away with eating the least amount of fat. I personally do, when on a good, on healthy day, on very healthy, clean days, I'm personally doing maybe 70-15-15 breakdown. And on most of my days, it's more like 60% carbohydrates and then the rest, split between protein and fat. And so, I find a lot of people do struggle because they are trying so hard to be as perfect as possible on this diet, when in fact it would be more beneficial to understand, Starch Solution, Raw-4, 80-10-10, all these different vegan diets, and to pick the things that they like from each one and to construct their own personalized food plan. And this will take some fine-tuning as you go throughout the process. The whole 80-10-10, Raw-4, it's not an instant fix. And it shouldn't be seen as an instant fix. And to be completely honest, when you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to find those instant fixes, because the quicker you can take the weight off, the quicker it can come back on. You can lose weight over a long period of time, gradually and sustainably. By doing that, it creates a lifestyle that becomes second nature to you, instead of a diet that you're constantly thinking about, stressing about, and wishing you just had a piece of cake. Another thing that I get from a lot of people is that they not only are they cutting their fat pretty low, but they're also exercising 7 times a week for over an hour each time. And they're trying to understand why they're not losing any weight. My response is to cut back on exercise. And I know that's so counterintuitive, but if you are going from someone who is sedentary or somewhat active to all of a sudden training every single day like you've been like an athlete your whole life, your body's going to be under a lot of stress. Cortisol is going to be running through your whole body, and you will not be able to lose the fat as effectively as if you were, again, taking this at a slower and healthier pace to create a proper healthy lifestyle. So my suggestion, I've worked with a few people where they come back to me after I suggest dialing it back to 4 to 5 times a week, if that, and they're starting to see the progress. So that has been, I know that sounds so counterintuitive, and I know this is anecdotal, and that's really all I can bring to the table at this point because I do not have a science degree, but that is something that I have found that helps a lot of people. I personally do not work out any more than 4 times a week, and I've still been able to build the physique that I have. And also what helps is not doing just cardio, so to vary your exercises, to also include some weighted exercise. That also tends to help people lose some weight as well. And I know that if you get into some, building muscle, you might put on some muscle, it might, show up on the scale too, but you'll start to see that shift in your body composition, or even if the scale says, you're still 140, you feel leaner, your jeans are a little looser because you've put on that little bit of muscle and you've taken off that little bit of fat. I think it really depends on the person. If they enjoy eating raw foods, predominantly raw foods, definitely go for that. But a lot of people just aren't really excited by that idea. So I think, it's also totally fine to be eating, a starch-based type of diet with cooked foods. And you can eat cooked foods all day round. It doesn't need to be raw to 4, it doesn't need raw to whenever. It can be breakfast, lunch, and dinner being all cooked foods. You're still going to find benefits from that. The only thing is that if you are doing a starch-based diet, I would recommend making sure that you are getting in enough vegetables as well. Just because, a potato compared to a banana is going to have more micronutrients, it's going to have more vitamins and minerals compared to a potato or a bowl of white rice. So to be mindful of including, some healthy vegetables you love. So steaming vegetables, yeah, that's steamed vegetables, but you can do a lot more with vegetables. You can bake them in the oven, you can grill them, you can sear them on the stove. There's a lot of, fire roasted vegetables. There's a lot of ways you can make vegetables really tasty. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, and a tiny bit of oil does go a long way with making vegetables totally banging. So to include that in with your starch dishes will definitely help. So at the end of the day, I think the general high carb, low fat diet is the most beneficial for the general public. I know some people are really drawn for some reason to high fat, low carb, and I don't understand that because, I mean, all of my favorite foods are, rice and, starchy foods, bread even. So I would never want to give that up for just like fat. I don't want to be eating nuts and avocados and seeds, predominantly. I would find that not enjoyable. So that's a personal preference for me. You can lose weight on a high fat, low carb diet, yes. However, the first couple weeks are going to be a lot of water weight. You're going to have to deal with a lot of cravings, and it really does set you up for a binge if you're not having enough carbohydrates in your diet. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, and this is something I say all the time, and it's something that is so important, is that don't be like a diehard for all these for just one type of dieting or one type of way of eating. Like, yes, vegan has an umbrella under it of different types of eating, but if you raw till 4, you don't need to follow religiously. You don't need to be waiting around till 4 o'clock to finally eat your starchy, food. I always say, find your favorite aspects to each one of these type of diets and create your own type of high carb, low fat diet, and that works for you, that includes the foods that you enjoy, that makes it should just feel right. You should have enough energy. You should not be hungry. You should be eating the foods you enjoy. You should be eating healthy foods that are enjoyable to you. With the gym, push yourself, but don't overdo it. Be able to push yourself to the point where you can push yourself like this every single week. So, okay, I went to the gym 5 days this week. Can I sustain that for 52 weeks? Probably not. So try to sustain each week what you can do for 52 weeks in a row. That's the key to finding a healthy lifestyle that works for you, to losing any excess weight that you may have, and patience and time and being kind to yourself. I hope you found something valuable in this video. So thumbs up if you want to see more discussions about veganism, vegan diets, vegan lifestyle, high carb and all that. And subscribe if you have not already. And thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.